pick, as I think getting the first win in the first round, or excuse me, the first game, is going to really matter in a set like this one. Ooh, and we see Braixen versus Mewtwo. Very interesting. In the region finals, we saw Darkrai against Sceptile. So both players mixing things up and really making a change here. I'm surprised to see Shadowcat switch off of the Darkrai chef.
Me too. I mean, honestly, both of these are surprising, but just for those of you out there who aren't as aware, this is a 3 out of 5 match. Every match from here on out will be 3 out of 5, and it is a double elimination tournament, so even if one of these players loses, they will move down in the bracket, get another chance to fight Jukim, of course, which is not a thing that you want to have to do. So there is a chance that we're going to see some switches, and wow, what a wall! What a backwards wall with the flamethrower to start things off.
Yeah, finding time to pull 2 Sunny Days there, get the charge of Farfetch going. Already coming into play here, this is going to be a lot of damage. One of the reasons Shadowcat likes to use the Farfetch is you can set up the hard knockdown and the chance to Sunny Day just like that. But Allister striking back with a Wake Up Fire Punch, starting things off with a reversal and making room to call that Togekiss.
Yeah, and now we're going to go to this little bit of a weird zoning game that these two can end up having in dual phase, but okay, both challenging with counter properties in the kind of like mid-range right there. Allister is going to get the advantage, but now has to deal with this burst, which can be very difficult to deal with, but he just needs to find one way in. The homing attack's going to hit. He needs one more hit.
Oh, goes up, trying to go over the Farfetch. Shadowcat not quite ready for it. The timing a little mixed up, and Allister able to close it out with the Drain Punch. Okay, so that round 1 was very interesting, Chef. Allister basically made the damage of Mewtwo, I think, can be really overwhelming for Braixen. Braixen just a 540 HP character, and you see that there's just not a lot of room for mistakes here.
Yeah, and I mean, the HP on Mewtwo's side, aside from the fact that he has really high damage, is also relatively high. So we do tend to see him really win out on a lot of the damage trades that he gets with a lot of the other characters in the game. But right now, Allister actually builds up full burst, which is something that we could see used to try and close out this game before maybe even Shadowcat gets burst of his own. Oh, Shadowcat, great way to get out of the corner. We are going to see the aggressive burst. Not something we see every match, or even maybe even half the matches from Mewtwo. Oh, but lands the critical Fire Punch, doesn't get the full conversion. What conversion? That is such a weird conversion.
Yeah, now, Call to Togekiss again. Again, this is shocking. Allister, goes into the reset. We'll see if this catches, and he does. So he connects with the homing. Shadowcat thought he was going to shift. Allister said, no, I'm just going to mix you up and go straight to the burst. This is going to close it out. Allister going up in game number 1 here. So now Shadowcat has a really important choice, because that was quick. Do you stick with the Braixen, or do you go back to the Darkrai that you had success with in the region finals? This is curious to see.
Yeah, we can see some switches back and forth, really, potentially, but it looks like we're not going to. Shadowcat staying confident in the Braixen pick. Of course, Shadowcat really, I guess we could say, found his fame with Braixen originally. Really has pushed really all of his characters' limits further than almost anybody that we can really look at. But this was kind of the original, and we'll see if there's an adaptation. It's not going to be easy, because like you said, that was a pretty dominant first game. And considering the fact that Shadowcat was the one who dominated the last set, a little bit surprising.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned earlier that these two players were training partners. There was a time where Shadowcat couldn't attend tournaments, and that's when they were playing so much. And it was this matchup and the Suicune Braixen matchup they were playing, so they're both very experienced. We see a nice punish coming out for Shadowcat, just putting in a grab. Shadowcat's reaction's one of his greatest strengths, and we see the use of the Farfetch again coming to play. Great position here for Shadowcat, but the backdash for Allister, using the invulnerable frames on the backdash, perfectly timed, and gets it a punish. Great stuff from Allister.
Only Allister would try something like that. Allister plays as much to show off, really, I think, as he does to win. But, I mean, he does it in a lot of situations where, obviously, that is a really great time to use it. And he, I mean, he doesn't have a life lead, but he was able to manage, he did take back, at least, a lot of the life deficit from that. And burst is starting to run out for Shadowcat. We're going to see the lockdown with the Farfetch'd. Oh, could have got the conversion into burst attack. Now it's just going to be, I think, some guaranteed chip here. But, oh, look at that shield. Really low. Not a good chance to break it, though, since they are in field. Oh, speaking of shield breaks.
Shadowcat. Yeah, Shadowcat missing the reaction there on the charge homing. That's not characteristic to Shadowcat, so I think maybe a few nerves coming to play here. Really interesting. We'll see if he's able to shake them off as this tournament, as the set goes on, I should say. Catches Allister jumping, though, and Allister in a tough spot here. Shadowcat does have control, and Allister, ooh, running out of time. Shadowcat taking round number 1.
Yeah, so much of the set now has actually come down to the reads as to what the barrier option after blocking 8X is from Mewtwo, where we've seen just the wrong guess now 2 times in a row from Allister, and that can really pay off for Shadowcat. You know, getting those critical hits, being able to set up those sunny days, build back some support meter, get attack buffs, etc. But right now, Shadowcat doesn't even need to get to that point. He's just going to play the pressure game at the corner. Wasn't able to get too much damage off of that 8X. That was beautiful on reaction to the counterattack, but look at this. He's starting to run away with it. Has full synergy, too.
Nice throw there from Shadowcat. Good mix-up. I think one of the distinguishing characteristics of Shadowcat's Braixen against any other Braixen in the entire world is how well and effectively Shadowcat will play the corner. Shadowcat going to take game number 2 here really impressively. Almost a complete reversal from our first game where Allister dominated, Shadowcat now dominating. But I think the distinguishing characteristic of Shadowcat's Braixen is once he has an advantage state and he has you in the corner, his ability to convert on that advantage state and punish your defensive options is so strong. And Braixen's tools are really damaging. That's why we see Shadowcat using the Farfetch. So I think as long as Shadowcat can start off, it's going to be really hard to break his momentum once he gets that going.
Yeah, and normally, if any of you have seen some, footage of Braixen before, it's usually a character that takes its time to move backwards, throw a lot of projectiles, but Shadowcat is a much more aggressive player than that. Plays a lot at this mid-range, really isn't afraid to be up in your face with the character, and we can see how it's paying off, and not a lot of other players play Braixen in that way. However, right now, Allister making the right reads, and you can see again how much the damage from Mewtwo comes into play against a lower HP character like Braixen.
Yeah, great homing cancel there from Shadowcat, and use the opportunity. That's sort of a tricky technique where you put out a homing cancel to break your throw and then cancel into the Farfetch call. Look at the stage control too, just from that option. Already Shadowcat has lots of room to work with, but now Allister striking back a little bit, and Shadowcat going to burst. That's going to be a break, but not a lot of damage.
Ooh, just fire punches through. That was a really weird option, but wasn't punished for it. And now burst is almost out. We are going to see again, though, a lockdown, and this is going to be close to a shield break setup. Has to make the right read. Gets hit. That's a lot better than getting KO'd. He still has a chance. 141 life left on Shadowcat's side is not a lot, especially after a grab. He just needs to make the right call here.
The mix-up, Allister just goes in. No mix-up finds another grab to close out round number 1 for Allister this time. The mind games too in the field phase there, Chef. Both of the players sort of trying to time their homings, their grabs, and their homing cancels just perfectly, and Allister coming out on top of that. Grab, catches the 2Y with the Farfetch. Shadowcat using Farfetch so effectively thus far.
Yeah, we didn't even really get a chance to talk about the fact that it was Farfetch as a pick. Of course, there's so many different options that we can see as a support pick for Braixen, but this is a very, very solid option, one that we've seen Shadowcat go to a lot before. Oh no, tries to CADC through the jump Y, gets hit, and this is a lot of damage, especially with the 30 unskilled on the wall. Allister also getting close to that burst that he used to close out the first game of the set. In fact, this might be a burst to burst situation. Allister does have time though. It's time to back up, try to waste some of the burst activation time from Shadowcat before he uses his own, and he is going to use that very effectively right here.
Ooh, interesting pressure situation there. Now Allister goes to the burst right as Shadowcat is about to be erased. Shadowcat took to the air. Sometimes he'll use burst exhaust as an offensive option there. Catches Allister, punishing, goes low under the Psycho Cut and punishes Allister there. Allister looking in trouble here. He's almost... Shadowcat has completely neutralized Mewtwo's burst and catches with a wand.
Wow, yeah, I mean, that was funny because both of them had burst. Both of them are very strong in burst mode. And then when either one popped burst, they just did nothing. The other one was so good at countering it that it almost was like a negative, which is something you don't really see, but it just shows how ready they are to play against those bursts.
Absolutely. And now, look at how patient this field phase is. It's really tough to play a patient field phase against Braixen, though. There's so many projectiles on screen. Eventually, a mistake's going to come. Here's that barrier you were talking about, Chef, yet again coming into play.
Oh, but look at this. Cornered. A nice CADC through, managing to get that critical hit. And look at that. That's going to put Shadowcat at a burst. I wonder if we're going to see a potentially offensive burst here. Could reset the phase shift points off this wall. Nope, just going to take the Sunny Day. The best mix-up in the game. 2 hits, a fire punch on block. Hits everybody.
Yeah, Allister expecting a follow-up on that flame charge and it didn't come, so went for a move that wouldn't punish it when a grab in that situation would have. Shadowcat really coming out on top of that situation. Oh, but a nice whiff punish here for Allister.
Oh my gosh, look at that damage, and now Allister needs to find one more hit. He's gonna get a lot of HP back with that Togekiss call, and he has the corner positioning. Oh, but what a good call! I don't know if he can close it out from this. He's going to be able to. That's a lot less than I thought. That was a great 2Y into the Farfetch'd, and that means it's gonna be 2-1 up now for Shadowcat. We are gonna see Allister stick with Mewtwo, and this, I mean, it makes sense to me. This has been such a back and forth set, and that one really came down to the final hit. That could have gone either way just based on what that read was right there. Just Shadowcat had the right one. Allister could very much take 2 in a row here.
Yeah, I think the big adaptation from Shadowcat is game number 1, he was playing very passively, and we saw that Allister turn that passivity into offensive opportunities, and then games 2 and 3, Shadowcat's been playing really aggressively and catching Shadowcat off guard. So now here, Allister's making the adaptation where he's playing aggressive, he's forcing mix-ups, and trying to force Shadowcat to sit back a little bit more and play patiently, and now with these grabs really punishing Shadowcat for playing a little bit more passively and defensively. A third grab in a row, the second telekinesis, are you kidding?
Oh no, the truest grappler in the game, and now he has the corner, and that is almost a perfect. That was certainly the round that you want when you need to make this 2-game comeback. That's the way you want to start it. Allister, and that the big thing here is that it's going to put the fear of grab into Shadowcat's mind for the rest of this set, no matter what. So now you have to think, okay, Allister's, oh, and wake up side strike too. Allister's pulling out all the stops right now to really get into Shadowcat's head, say, okay, you're predicting me very well, but what if I do stuff that you would just never guess in a million years?
Oh, catches. This is going to be huge damage. We'll see if Allister chooses to shift. A little bit. Oh, resets and gets another grab. Look at the damage too. Oh, so strong here. 50 seconds on the clock. So Shadowcat almost forced to burst in this position. And in field phase, not a lot of characters want to be in field phase for burst. Breaks in one of them, but Allister with Togekiss in field, it's going to be a lot of evasion potentially.
Oh yeah, you know Allister is willing to just literally wait this out. Look how fast Mewtwo is zooming around. And oh yeah, that was going to be the one option that could catch, but he gets close enough that it doesn't combo. And Allister now effectively wasting all of Shadowcat's burst time and keeping the life lead pretty significantly. But wow, a grab back to whiff punish the with Mewtwo grab, which is a little bit rare since it's so far. But here we go, Shadowcat has a chance now, landing 2 hits. And at the very least, building back a lot of synergy potential for the next round. Oh, the CNAC through, doesn't get as many as he wants, but finally finds the counterattack. A lot of weird interactions right there, a lot of things that didn't quite combo, but this is going to go to a final game.
Both these players just brawling right now, Chef. They both want to be throwing out defensive reversal options, blue armor, and proving that they can be the one to stuff out the other's attack. We saw Allister go into the Side Strike just as like, okay, we're done playing these games. We saw it again there. Shadowcat using the Farfetch'd to get around the reversal pressure. Here we're going to set point. We'll see if there's any mix-ups to the sort of game plan. Allister also, I'm pretty sure, a perfect block on the incoming hit of Wand at the end of the last round. That was amazing. Just so much happening in this high-octane match here from these two players. And Allister off to a really strong start.
Oh yeah, and you know they really want to win this. It will put them into the winner's side of Grand Finals, and seeing how close they are in this set, having that extra cushion of a 3 out of 5 set is the biggest advantage you could possibly get. Great conversion. Well, I don't really say conversion, really confirm is really the term I'm looking for right there. But here we go, huge life lead, and the grab again. The grabs have really set up everything for Allister here as he's going into match point.
Yeah, Mewtwo's throw range just so tough to play around. It's one of the longest distance grabs in the game, and you can just see Shadowcat struggling these. If you go in and you try to break these throws, you could potentially take a ton of damage. So you're really stuck between a rock and a hard place, and playing this sort of more mid-range game is really where Shadowcat wants to be. Oh, the grab, the call out on the barrier after the shift. Brilliant adaptation from Shadowcat.
Oh yeah, Shadowcat saying, I'm willing to grab 2 for sure. But here we go. Not a lot of damage being dealt. Oh, this is going to be the start of it. The enhanced flame charge at the end. And look at how much damage you can do if set up correctly with breaks in. Not the easiest things to do always, but here we go. Another conversion. And oh, Shadowcat is taking such a heavy lead here. Has burst, but definitely wants to save it for the final round here. Oh, big whiff, but actually gets saved by the jump Y. Regardless, we are going to a final round.
Okay, so both players going to be very close to burst here. It depends. No, so Allister, I believe, actually might be running. I don't know. Didn't get a bonus there from the synergy. So gonna have to rely on options like that Drain Punch if he wants to get close in some 1 phases. But Shadowcat off to a great start here and has complete flexibility in when he chooses to go to that burst. So far gonna save it, but if Allister brings himself back in, might use it to stay on top. This is gonna be huge damage from the Hyper Beam.
He did neutral Wine Field into barrier and caught the jump X jumping over. That was absolutely amazing. Oh no! Oh no! He jumps over the 2X this time. A lot of weird hitbox issues, but look at that. The damage is adding up. Shadowcat has burst. We might see it aggressively here. Oh, but the Fire Punch is going to hit. That is going to be a lot of meters spent for Allister, but he does have the Toad Kiss, and now he's going to have to use it to defeat this burst mode. Oh, this is so scary. 1 good conversion would be it. Oh, the jump Y hits, but nothing else.
Pulling Allister, and he goes over and he catches Shadowcat. It's going to be big damage, but Shadowcat defense boosted by this burst, synergy burst, so not going to be enough. Allister goes high again. Oh my goodness, so he's neutralized the burst. Allister now with the HP lead. Oh, is this going to catch? No, Farfetch coming out.
Oh no, this is going to be so much at the corner. Look at this. Oh, down to 2 HP. Okay, this is basically 1 hit away for either person. There's only about 10 seconds left. He has to make the right read. Goes for the full hits of homing. And Shadowcat brings it back in Game 5, Round 3 at the very final moment. He will be advancing to the winner's side of Grand Finals. That set was so close. That went down to literally as close as it can get.
Yeah, what an incredible fight. You see why we're so excited every time these players meet. Coming down to just a side Y for Shadowcat.